G'day guys, Mike Amitz here, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own homemade pizza and including how to make the dough because that supermarket frozen dough just doesn't cut it. So we're going to do today a vegetable pizza and a chorizo kind of spicy salami meat pizza as well. So follow along, you're going to enjoy this. It's really quick, simple and of course delicious. So let's get into it. Righto, let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with making the dough for the pizza, and I'm using plain white flour with protein of around 11.5. So we've got, I'll give you the ingredients on the screen in a moment so you can check that out and pause it. We've got 4 cups of flour, we've got 2 cups of quite warm water, we've got a tablespoon of salt, and we've got a tablespoon of yeast. So there's my 4 cups of flour in there. I'll add all the dry ingredients first. Tablespoon of dry instant yeast. So that's dry instant yeast, and it goes straight in like that. We don't have to activate it first or anything. Tablespoon of salt, just a level tablespoon. Maybe even a little bit less depending on your taste. That's fine. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1, 2, that'll help with the elasticity of the dough a little bit for the pizza. And then we have our 2 cups of very warm water. Pre-measured, pre-warmed. Okay, that's the dough mix. And I'll just give it a swirl because that will help it to start to mix together before I put my hands in there and get the action happening. Alright, clean hands of course, fully washed, all clean. Just going to put one in so I can keep one clean for holding the bowl or letting the dog out the back door or whatever I've got to do. Okay, get that mixed together. Now this is enough for 2 pizzas, this dough. Once this rises, we're just going to let it rise for about 30 minutes is all you really need for pizza dough to rise. You don't need to prove it a lot. So there we go. That's all mixed. A little bit sticky, that's okay. So that's it there, ready. I'm going to cover that in cling film. It's going to sit on the bench for around 30 minutes and then we'll come back, beat it down a little bit, knead it out, etc. See you soon. Okay, we're back. That's been 30 minutes now. The dough has risen quite a bit. As I say, I just had it covered in plastic sitting on the bench. Nowhere special. So we're going to get that, we're going to beat it down a little bit and knead it. So it's quite sticky at the moment, of course. So we're going to put the flour, sprinkle some flour all over it. And again, clean hands. And we're just going to push down to get some of this flour down the side to get the flour under it so that I can really get my hands under there and get this out of the bowl without it being too sticky. Okay. Looking like that now and not sticking to anything. Now the bench has been cleaned and dried, so we're going to put a little bit of flour there so we can knead this dough a little. Okay, there's the dough on the bench, ready with flour on top. Now knead it with your knuckles or the heel of your hand. Just fold it this way, fold it that way, flip it over, spin it round, working it a bit to get the yeast to activate and get it to sort of expand a little bit more. That's it. Don't need much because this is just for a pizza. We're not trying to make it rise like as if we're doing bread. So I'd say that's going to do it. That's just a bit of kneading. So now I'm going to cut that. I need to roll it. Let's see what I'm doing. Alright, I've got a bit of spare flour. I'm going to cut that, say, in half. Where's my knife gone? said, we're doing 2 pizzas, so cut it in half for each pizza. Sticky. Right, get some flour on this. Make these into 2 separate balls. And a bit more flour altogether, I think, because it's really quite sticking to me. Pat that out, you know, like into a bit of a flat shape first. More flour on top. Then you get the rolling pin. Where's my rolling pin? Bit of flour on the pin, straight off my hands. And roll it from the centre towards the outside, working evenly as you go, and you're going to have to flip it a few times so it's not sticking to the counter. Okay, flip it over, almost sticking a little bit there, get a bit of flour back on top. Roll again, centre to the outside, evenly. Okay, so I'll just work that a bit and come back and show you what it looks like after that. Okay, I've rolled that out pretty much as big as I need. It's going to suit my tray, my pizza dish. So you want to have your pizza dish somewhere pretty nearby. And sling this over into your pizza tray, which is pre-greased. I've rubbed some olive oil all around this. So as you can see, it's not perfect shape for the tray, but that's okay. Work it a bit with your hands, get it to all the outsides. This is going to be a rustic kind of pizza, that doesn't matter. That's the way we want it, it's homemade. Bit of a stretch there, bit of a stretch there, lovely. And I've already done the other one there, so we've got 2 ready there now. So next, I'll just sit those aside here, and we're going to show you how to make the tomato sauce for the base. Okay, so we've got about 135 grams here of tomato paste. I'm going to use all of that for 2 pizzas. That goes in. I've got some pre-chopped garlic here, along with the other veggies that are going to go on the veggie pizza and some on the meat pizza. So all the garlic's going to go in. We'll stir that together. Pretty finely chopped garlic so that it spreads nicely around the pizza. Garlic, I have got a teaspoon of freshly ground pepper, which I ground first because it takes a little while to do and it's noisy. So a nice bit of pepper. So what this is doing, this is creating the flavour base, because of course this sauce is going to spread all over the base. So you know you get equal flavour right across the pizza then of whatever the base flavour is that you're looking for. I like mine a little bit spicy. I'm going for a little pinch of red chilli powder in there. I won't tip it straight in, I'll make a mistake if I do that. So what's that? Less than half a teaspoonful going in there, chili powder. Sometimes you can put Tabasco. As I say, I like it a bit spicy, so a few jiggers of that, nothing much. Again, that was probably half a teaspoonful. To vary the flavour up a little bit from just the tomato flavour, we're going to put some barbecue sauce. So that's about tablespoon I should say. I will put the ingredients, end of the video, there'll be a list of all the ingredients. Stay tuned, check that out. Okay, so that's the basic sauce for the pizzas that's going to really put that flavour base right across them, evenly across. Okay, so give that a bit of a mix through. Then, grab your bases. Try and divide this into half as well, because we know we've got half for each pizza, so flop it into the middle and start to spin the pan and drag this out firstly like a kind of a big starfish or something like that, like so, just to get a bit of even spread. And then you can start to really go around. And you want to keep it in about ½ an inch from the edge. You don't want it right out to the edge because you want the edge of this dough to get a bit brown and crispy. So, okay, I'll do that. I'll come back. You can see the idea. That was hard work. I'm going to have a little bit of grape juice, I think. Oh. Technically grape juice. Right, so that's done. Both of these are spread. You can see the garlic is, you know, dispersed right throughout there. Obviously all the flavours are. So let's start with the vegetarian one. Two things to tell you. First, oven is on. Don't forget to preheat your oven. 220 for the oven. Second thing to tell you is, this is the basis for me, my style, of any pizza you do, and then it's up to you what toppings you put on it. So we're going for vegetarian for one of them. So you can see red capsicum, green capsicum, onion, bit of eggplant even here, and some shallots or spring onions there. So let's start, and on top of this is coming grated cheese, which I'll just get out of the fridge before I don't forget it, make sure I don't forget it. And also I have some sliced olives to go on there. So if I don't put it out in front of me, I'll probably forget to put it on there. Start with your flatter items, whatever they are. Just fling them around. That's the eggplant going on. Okay, bit of eggplant. Half of this for this pizza and half for the other pizza. So a bit of red capsicum. Now, one thing I've learned about making pizzas over the years is you can get carried away with the toppings. You can put too much. If you put too much, it just gets heavy and wet, and it's not good. You know, you can't eat it. It's all soggy and saggy. Sure, it tastes great, but it's just not the proper pizza experience. So you don't want too much in the way of toppings. You really don't. Okay, so then we'll have some onion. It's all about the proper experience of having a bit of crispy, crunchy dough on the edges, not too soggy. Spread it around, spread it out to the edges. So that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to cover that with cheese. Cover means, you know, take half the cheese, sprinkle. And this binds it all together, so when you're eating it, and this is just cheddar cheese, any sort of cheddar cheese. So when you're eating it, it's all sticks together and doesn't fall off on you. That's the idea with that. So a bit of cheese over the top. And finally, a few olives left for the very top to give us a bit of, can't say colour, but maybe contrast. Bit of a look, you know. And finally, top off with some sort of Italian herbs. You can use mixed herbs. If you use mixed herbs, don't go too heavy on the mixed herbs because they're a bit aromatic with the different rosemary and thyme and stuff they've got in them. So Italian herbs is more focused on the oregano, which is of course a good one. If you only have oregano, use a bit of oregano, no problem. Again, I say you can put absolutely anything you want on the pizza. It's up to you and your tastes, but don't go overboard with the amount of toppings. Here's a bit more fresh cracked pepper on top, and that's going to be it. That one's going to be ready to go in the oven. So I'm going to quickly arrange the other one and then show you that one as well. Okay, that's how that one's looking right now, the vegetarian one. Now we'll do the meat one. So I've got some chorizo. Pepperoni is really good, but I can't get good pepperoni around here. I'm living in Bahrain and can't get much pork actually, let alone good pepperoni. So chorizo's got the right bite for me for spice. So I'm going to flip these on in a cross pattern first. This is a good way to get it even. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. And then fill in the gaps in between. bang a couple in the middle. So we'll probably put all the meats down the bottom. Here's the bacon. I've got bacon I'm putting in this one as well, as it's the meat pizza. And the bacon, it was a bit fatty, so what I've done is I've cooked it first to render the fat a little bit, and you know, just because too much fat in here is also going to make the dough soggy and not so good. So I've got cooked bacon, and just drained, so the fat is drained off it. Sprinkle that around. We're still going to get the flavour of the bacon without all the fat content. Okay, and then we're going to go for the same sort of veggies as what we had before. So that's looking good now, and I know that's going to taste really good. Other times I've put some corn kernels out of a can on here as well, which is quite nice. So finally, as with the vegetarian one, we'll finish off with a bit of cheese on top to stick everything together, to bind it and hold it. Good bit of cheese is nice. Also, you can of course put mozzarella cheese on here as well, if you like that, to get that stringy effect. Olives. That's just about it. So the only difference is the meat on this one, really. Okay, there we go. Now a little bit of the Italiano herbs. Bit of a sprinkle. And man, I know that's going to be yummy. Where's that pepper? Big bash of that. I can see the dough's already puffing up a bit as it's sitting here waiting to go in the oven, which is fine, but of course we don't want it too puffy for pizza, no need. Okay, so that's it. Basically looks the same as the other one because the meat is hidden down inside there. So both of those are going to go in the oven now on the centre shelf for about 12 minutes maximum. Really, you probably should check it after about 10 minutes. So set a timer. Do set a timer. Don't make a mistake. And yeah, I'll show you after, but when you're checking, you want to lift up the pizza a little bit, have a look on the bottom and see if it's starting to brown, because that's where you're going to have your problem. If it's getting overcooked, if you're going, sometimes 10 minutes is enough. Check the bottom. If it's starting to get too dark brown, too crunchy, too hard, not good. So okay, let's come back after about 12 minutes. Okay, that's been 12 minutes now. I checked them at about 10 minutes and they were looking reasonably brown on the bottom, but I gave them a couple more minutes and for sure they are done now. Oops. Let's get them out of there. I'll tell you what, it smells great. It's one. It's the vegetarian one. There's the meat one. Yum. Oven off. Look at that. Delicious. And the smell reminds me, I grew up in Melbourne and there was a big Italian culture in Melbourne, so a lot of pizza shops everywhere. So when you used to go for a night out with the boys on the way home, you'd stop at a pizza shop and walk into the shop and the smell was delicious. It made you salivate, it made you really hungry. That's the smell that we got going on here. So you got to try this, you really have to try this. Anyway, I'm going to let that cool down a little bit before I cut it so that it's kind of solidified a bit and it cuts nicely and easily, and then we'll give it a taste test. Beauty! Okay, we're back. It's been 2 or 3 minutes now. The pizza has cooled down enough that I can handle it. So, because the tray is all nicely greased, it's going to slide out of there like that, easily. Get your pizza cutter. Got my friend Sandman in the background here, ready. Ready and waiting for the taste test. Through we go. You want to sort of stop and push down a bit along the way. Maybe cut a bit backwards. We'll go into 8 slices, so we'll go quarters. Tell you what, looking and smelling good. One more cut. Falling off. Who's that? Emma and Nigel in the background. They want something to eat as well, but I don't think they eat pizza. Okay, there we go. That's the meat one we're trying. Sandman, please find yourself a piece. Have a go.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Wow,
Yummy. Is that looking good or what? It's all right.
yummy.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, nice. A little bit spicy. Only a little bit, not enough. Could be more. It's all right. Okay, I'm not going to stand here and eat the whole pizza in front of you, but I'll tell you what I could. So thanks for watching again. Check out my other videos of other recipes that I've done, and we will see you next time. Any comments, any likes, subscribe, all welcome. Thanks a lot, guys. See ya. Bye.